when you look at the organizational chart, please know, the SELPA does not govern school districts. I am not the supervisor, the evaluator of any of the chief business officials, of any of the directors of special education. Now and then I'll get a phone call from a parent, and the parent may be unhappy with something that's happening at their district, or they're unhappy with a teacher, and they sometimes think, I'm the boss, and I tell them I'm not the boss. I'm a service leader to our districts and to our parents. So we are in partnership with districts, and we are in partnership with parents. And our role is always to do the best thing we can for students by working together in that sort of triangle, the SELPA, the districts, the parents. But I just want to make sure that everyone understands we don't, nor does my staff, have any supervisory role. So if they're there to support a teacher, my staff might be out in the field in the Far East, Dr. Byland might be out helping a psychologist or helping a teacher to learn new skills or what have you. During that work, there's no evaluatory process, there's no supervisory role. So it's kind of a nice place to be in a way because we're a neutral party in partnership with Contra. And so personnel matters, things like that, we don't deal with them. Now, that isn't to say that if a parent called and said, here's the situation that's going on, I've attended an IEP, I'm totally confused, I realize that the general ed teacher wasn't there, the SDC teacher who was there hadn't read the IEP, you know, what have you, then I would say, oh my, let me help you. Let's talk about this. I will listen, and I will get one of my staff members there to help you. And then you may get to the point where, if there are big issues, you would say, I want a facilitated IEP. I want someone there as a neutral party to be there to kind of guide me and to make sure that everything is in place the way it should be. That's what my expert staff would do. They would come out, they would sit with you at IEPs, they would prepare with you ahead of time. They might say, what is your goal of this IEP? Parent, what are the issues? Sometimes we have, you know, very different opinions of what should be happening. The parent wants one thing, the district is saying, you know, to provide FAPE, free appropriate public education. Here's our offer. The parent is saying that isn't what I want this and this as well. That's where my staff would come in and help you and say, you know what, let's talk about this. Now, I have been on both sides of the table with the SELPA. I was the director of special education in Antioch. The SELPA was my friend. I called on them all the time to come out and do parent trainings, to come out and do staff trainings, to come out and facilitate IEPs that I knew were too difficult at the time because the parent and the district just couldn't see eye to eye. So I would call on them and say, please, come out, can you facilitate this IEP? Here are some dates that the parent is available. Then I've been on the other side of the table when the parent has called the SELPA and said, can you come out and support me? And I have an issue with this or that. I've sat, you know, in the superintendent's office with chief academic officer, the parent, an advocate, you know, whatever, and then also the SELPA staff. And at that time, I can remember just thinking, well, this is kind of interesting. It feels kind of strange because at the time it was Kathy Nichols. She's kind of my buddy. She helps me out. She comes out. She's facilitated IEPs for me when I'm having a tough time getting the parent to understand something. Now she's sitting across the table, and what did she say to me? Laura, you guys screwed up, and you need to fix this. I said, yes, we will. We will take care of that. So if you can see our role, it's probably the hardest thing for me to explain. We are here for your kids, and that means we are going to serve you, we are going to serve the districts. And I hope that's, I think I've made that clear. So we are a resource. I'll tell you a little bit about